Our collection is considered to be the largest of its kind in the world. Maz and I have put it together over nearly 40 years. Everything we have was made in the Black Forest in southern Germany. It's an area approximately 25 miles in radius. It's a fantastic part of the world.
The Piekarski brothers have dedicated their lives to the acquisition, repair and maintenance of these clocks. And with any collection of this size, the question will arise, where did it all begin?
The first cuckoo clock we found is a Piekarski style cuckoo clock. We call it the acorn. In fact, all the clocks in our collection have got names. We call it the acorn because it built the oak tree and what the full collection that we have today. It's a very rare piece made about 1850s with all Piekarski inlay. Beautiful clock. We give the credit to the first cuckoo clock to a guy called Franz Anton Ketterer from Schönwald, which is the highest village in the Black Forest, in 1735 approximately.
That's a very popular theory. First put forward by Marcus Fidelius Jack in a passage from his report, A Description of Industry and Commerce of the Black Forest in 1810. But there are many theories. In 1796, Father Franz Steyrer describes a meeting between two clock peddlers and a Bohemian merchant, suggesting their return to the Black Forest to be the introduction of the art of cuckoo clock making to the area. Though lindenwood, the most popular choice for carving, is the national tree of Bohemia, as Adolf Kirstner points out, there is no Bohemian cuckoo clock in existence to verify this, nor evidence of a Bohemian clock-making industry. The fact of who made the first clock is insignificant. What matters is that the cuckoo clock as we know it comes from this region of southwest Germany, a tradition which started in the late 17th century and still comes up with new designs and technical improvements, creating an art form that is now recognised worldwide. Let us consider what goes into the making of a clock. Mechanism, dials, hands, weights.
In the very, very early clocks, and in the beginning of clockmaking, when they had weight-driven clocks, they used rocks for the weights. And then they went from rocks to glass, and then hollow glass where they filled them with sand to get the correct weight, and then they used lead-filled brass coats, and then they made these spruce cast ones about 1850 onwards.
At one time there was a fashion for a very different kind of weight. But let's move on to the hands. Most
of them were bone, but we also have iron, brass, and on the very, very special clocks we have got them in ivory, which come from the tusks of the wild boar.
And the dials?
Most of them are made of wood, but on the more expensive clocks you've got alabaster, zinc, enamel dials as well, and painted dials.
Here, on the oldest clock in the collection, the whole shield is painted. Images could be of a religious nature, here a family at prayer, or of the everyday life around them, but one theme returned again and again, that of hunting. It would appear the bird in this clock has startled the fawn, and here the hunters stalk the bird within the clock. In this flirty eye clock, Moses is watching you. Albert Erasmus keeps his eye on his reforms and possibly your poetry. And though a stalking lion may strike fear into the hearts of some, this chap strikes fear into the heart of many more. And once again, the hunting. In the Black Forest, an autumn frost will soon become a bleak midwinter. And over 100 years ago, hunting was a very necessary part of life. It's easy to see how a brace of pheasants, a hare, a stag, even a rifle and powder pouch hanging in the corner would make excellent still life material for the farmer carver unable to work during the long winter months in the Black Forest, the Schwarzwald.
There was thousands and thousands of people doing it, because in the beginning it was a second industry for them. They were all farmers, and they did it at home in the winter days when they were snowed in and they couldn't move around. That's when they started all the carving and making the cuckoo clock.
Throughout the 19th century, thousands of German-made clocks were exported to Britain, where high street traders put their own names on the dials. The clocks in the museum have a fantastic variety of decoration, from this simple scratch carving to the more ornate fretwork shown here. Leaves were popular, and remain so to this day, having an infinite variety of shape and form. Likewise the beasts and birds of the field and forest. Fruit and flowers can be found in profusion. Here we have edelweiss and anemone, cornflower, bellflower, pears, ripe grapes, even the humble mushroom gets a look in.
These are the drawings that were given to the wood carvers so they knew what to produce, and we actually have these two clocks here in the collection.
A discerning customer could choose a design from a pattern, like these in a brochure from the 1850s. This clock was produced in reverse of its image. And these birds have flown. Some images recur, their dramatic impact proving popular, such as this stag caught in a fence mid-flight, its hind leg trapped between the bars. This clock is adorned in a very unique fashion. Around 1860, Anton Ketter chose to decorate this clock not with carvings of vine leaves, but with the vine root. Cuckooland has many of the railway house style clocks, designed by Frederick Eisenlohr, the architect responsible for the buildings along the then new railway. He adapted the design of a standard railway guard's residence in response to a competition launched in 1850 by the Clockmakers' School in Furtwangen. Stories abound in Cuckooland. Here we see the fledgling romance of the shepherdess and her coy beau, the regular assault by the fox on the chickens in the yard, the proud stag prepares for rut, the doe fears for her fawn, she sees the eagle soar overhead. This sorely vexed rabbit must be well aware of the danger facing his seemingly oblivious brethren. And here we are reminded that a predator kills because a mother has mouths to feed. Each clock a practical tool and an ornament to decorate and entertain, in a time before computers, computer games, TVs, cinemas or even radios, and when getting to the theatre, music hall or even the local tavern could be very difficult. The Cuckooland collection also boasts a wide variety of table clocks, ornate, finely crafted pieces. And beautiful without, these clocks can be equally beautiful within. So what makes a cuckoo clock cuckoo? Can we see that again? The internal mechanisms of the clocks are almost as varied as the external decorations. Here the brass plates have been cut away, revealing the cogs within.
This is a very unusual clock with a silk suspension for the pendulum.
This cuckoo clock is a cuckoo and or quail clock. On the half hour,
here we have a particularly endearing development to the cuckoo's call. While the cuckoo calls the quarters, the hour has a fanfare. The Black Forest has a long history of Christianity, and on some clocks crosses are used as part of the ornamentation. Elsewhere the Christian influence is even more profound, as with this representation of Strasbourg Cathedral.
This clock is based on Potsdam Military Cathedral in Berlin. This table clock has the cuckoo, a monk and a 6-tune musical box in the bottom. Here we have a table cuckoo clock with trumpeter in the bottom. This was made about 1890 by Gordon Hettish and Fort Banger. This table cuckoo clock has the added feature of a calendar mechanism.
One of the most popular clock manufacturers was J.B. Behar & Sons of Eisenbach, whose work is well represented in the collection.
This is an 8-day table cuckoo clock with a 6-tune musical box in it. The pictures don't do it justice. This is a wonderful clock. This table cuckoo clock is inlaid with tin, brass and turtle shell.
Here the Behars have used 6 different colours of turtle shell to decorate the outer rim of the clock, and a finely machined bevel around the dial, and a bird that sports real feathers.
Here we have nearly 25 kilos of solid walnut. What a cuckoo clock. This is one of 2 that were made approximately 1880 in Eisenbach.
Tales of their making, tales of their carving, and tales of their acquisition.
It's been through a sewer?
The sewers, yeah. From east to west. A magnificent carving. I bought it in a place called Fort Vangen, but I saw it first in Birmingham Motorcycle Museum, and then we bought it then we were out there in Germany. But the guy who bought it off, he bought it from Namibia.
This is certainly a well-travelled green man, but there are other, more spectacular little men of the woods. This magnificent clock is, without doubt, one of a kind. The Piekarski brothers' research has led them to believe that this clock was made for Frederick I Grand Duke von Baden around the beginning of his formal tenure as regent in 1858. The figures are intricately carved, every eyebrow and fingernail having definition, and a real sense of movement and purpose given to each figure, both on the clock shield and the pendulum. This truly is a cuckoo clock fit for a king. From the singularly majestic to the highly fashionable, the cuckoo clock makers of the Black Forest could rise to any challenge with great aplomb, as we see with these Art Deco clocks. Cuckooland is home to many different styles of clock, from the medievally castellated to those carrying more than a touch of the Alhambra. So, who is the star of the show? One of the novelty acts, perhaps?
These are not cuckoo clocks, but cameraman's assistants. What did we used to say when we had our pitch team? Watch the birdie.
One could regard the fine carving as the star of the show, or the intricate mechanisms, or perhaps a lovely bird like this old dear. Ah, the birds.